What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Today we're going to talk about the alleged full list roster leak for Injustice 2. And we're also going to talk about the potential beta that Ed Boon teased on his Twitter page today. So starting off with the roster list here, I'm going to read off the characters for you. And see if your favorite made the list. A couple of mine actually did. Let's see, what do we got here? We've got Joker. That's kind of a given. Bane, which is weird that they brought him back. I didn't think he was very good the first game. His moveset was kind of limited and too hulking and big. I'm just going to go through the list now, sorry. Poison Ivy, Swamp Thing, Black Canary, Catwoman, Cyborg, Green Lantern, Hal Jordan, Green Lantern, John Stewart, which he's like a pre-order bonus, I think. And he shows up as like an alternate skin. Like it changes his appearance, his voice, and dialogue. So it's kind of like an enhanced skin almost, which I actually think is kind of cool. There's Cheetah, Firestorm, Flash, Green Arrow, Captain Cold, Brainiac, Robin, the Damian Wayne version, Black Adam, Scarecrow, Dr. Fate, this is really fucking cool, Power Girl, and I know Power Girl is like the same thing with the appearance of a Green Lantern. Power Girl is like a switch off for Supergirl. Zoom, and I know he's the switch off for Flash, like like the appearance, voice, and dialogue thing, and Mr. Freeze. So that's a pretty good roster. You gotta remember, there's also going to be 9 more DLC characters after that, and then this doesn't include any of those characters because, and like the reason I don't think any of them are in there is because I remember the first Injustice game, I know like he would go to Twitter. Ed Boon would go to Twitter and he would ask people who they wanted, and I remember like one of the big ones that people were asking for was Martian Manhunter, and I remember I was one of the people that was like, hey, how about Martian Manhunter, because I know he was in the background in one of the Justice levels, like I think it's the Watchtower level. He's just kind of floating in the background, which I thought was really cool. It's like you made the model, like come on, make him a fighter. So they did, and it was really cool. So obviously none of these are any of the DLC characters, which I think is actually good because they can really, they can rely on fan feedback to see like, who else you would want. Like, me personally, I would like to see Booster Gold to kind of like, kind of complement the Blue Beetle and, but I think it's not Ted Cord though, unfortunately. But I would like Booster Gold. That would be really sweet. I'm trying to think of who else would I want. And another thing is weird that like Ares isn't in the game. I thought they would bring back Ares, but he might not focus in on the story. I think one thing you got to kind of look at if this is the real list is like these are characters who are going to be, main people in the story who like have an impact in the story and whatnot. And kind of the fun characters kind of come later in DLC. And I know in like one of his tweets, Ed Boon asked if if people would like the Watchmen characters. I'm kind of okay with that. Not too hot on it, and although they would be good. But that would be like 4 or 5 of like the 9 DLC characters, which the DC universe is a huge, awesome universe, and like whether or not I would want the Watchmen to be like almost all the like more than half of the list of the DLC characters. That would kind of bum me out actually. But I mean, I guess you could. It kind of makes sense, because like you would have like Dr. Manhattan would be a foil to Superman. I mean, there's foils to each main DC character in the Watchmen, so like I guess that could be one thing. And I know they would never put that out as like this is one of your DLC packs that has like however many characters. I think it's 5 or 6 of them. Here's however many characters. And then we're gonna have 8 more DLC characters. They're totally not going to do that. That's just not how WB Games operates. And another concern of mine is they haven't said anything about a PC version yet, so that kind of bums me out. But I'm pretty sure when Injustice, the first one, I think when it was first announced and launched, it wasn't on PC if I remember correctly, and it came later when the Ultimate Edition came out around the time of the PS4 launch, I believe. That was actually later in the year, so hopefully later in the year we'll get a PC version. I'm really hoping we'll actually get a PC version. Got my fingers crossed on that because I really want to be able to run this game in 4K because it looks amazing as it stands right now. And like to be able to run it in 4K at 60 frames, the best. That would be the best. But I kind of see like maybe WB Games kind of shying away from PC because of what happened with Arkham Knight, and it's just kind of like, you know, it's a bit unfair because like botch launches happen all the time on consoles, and I guess maybe the only difference would be, and I guess this would be huge, especially if you're a business, which I totally get. You know, you won't lose a bunch of money through refunds, you know, because you know, through Steam, people were refunding their purchases for Arkham Knight. I wasn't one of them. I held on to the game, and I just kind of held out hope that they would actually fix it one day, and they did for the most part. You know, so you know, there's still decent frame drops. I have some footage up here on my channel, and you know, there are some good, still decent frame drops, but it's, you know, it's way better than it used to be. I can actually, for the most part, run it at 4K and 60 frames. I mean, granted, I have a, you know, a Titan X Pascal, and like, of course, you know, it should run on that, for God's sake. But I don't know, like I see them kind of shying away from the PC market almost because of what happened with that. If they lost a bunch of money and then they had to spend all that time, you know, and resources on manpower to try to fix the game, you know, it's just like I understand it from a business perspective, but it's just like, it really bums me out, and I really do hope that they like make a PC version. And also I know that there's another Batman like Arkham game in the works, and I'm hoping they bring that on PC, but it really wouldn't surprise me if they didn't. And I remember that Arkham Origins had some issues too, but not to the extent of Arkham Knight, that's for sure. You know, but there were some minor issues. Like I remember one in particular, like there was like towers you had to like do. You had to unlock kind of like, you know, because everyone was doing it at the time, the Assassin's Creed tower sort of thing. But you had to go into it and like unlock the door and then do something with the frequency scanner thing. And then I know like there was some sort of glitch where like you couldn't climb into it, and like you had to do some sort of, you had to fly. Then there was some kind of like backwards way of doing it. You had to like fly over it and you had to use your keyboard and hit a bunch of keys and like kind of juke your way in there and stuff. And it was like, you know, but those are small issues, like, you know, as opposed to like Arkham Knight, where it's like huge, like game breaking issues, like to where, you know, it looked like a flip book because the frames would be so low. So yeah, I mean, I hope they actually eventually do come out on PC again. I know you're tired of me saying that. I'll move on now. Also, like it was today where Ed Boon put up this picture. I'll show it to you right here. It's the Greek characters, but beta is missing out of the list there. That second letter there. So it's looking like we're gonna get an Injustice 2 beta, which should be really sweet. I would totally like to be in on that. And of course, it's probably just gonna be whatever characters were in the E3 demo that they probably had. You know, the E3 Gamescom, Comic-Con, you know, the con demos essentially. I would still like to play it. I'm still gonna buy it, whether, you know, regardless, because, you know, I love DC Comics and I love, you know, NetherRealm Studios and their fighting games. So it'd be great to get early on it. Would be great to get in early on it. Jesus Lord. All right. So that's it today. That's it for today, guys. And I'm not gonna edit this. I'm stumbling around. I'm just gonna leave it the way it is. It's great. Anyway, let me know in the comments who you would like to see as a character. If you think this list is real, potentially real, or if you think it's, you know, if you think it's bullshit, let me know too. But also let me know characters you'd like to see, actually. You know, because I would be interested in hearing what other people think would be good DLC characters. Like I said, Booster Gold I think would be cool. And I'm trying to think of another one. I think Firestorm's on the list though, I think. Yeah, Firestorm's on it. Yeah. I can't think of, off the top of my head, I can't think of any. Anyway, let me know what you guys think, and I'll talk to you later, guys. See you.
Superman. Zod. This planet will be mine.
Begin.
There's nowhere to hide. Die, Superman. Zod always wins. Swallow your shame.
Zod wins.
I win. I always win. This planet will be mine.
Begin.
This planet will be mine.
Begin.
Zod always wins. No one can help you. There's nowhere to hide. Why prolong your suffering? I enjoy spending time.
Zod wins.
I win. I always win.